My wife turned me into a stereotype. Posted on r/TrueOffMyChest. My wife turned me into a stereotype. I've been with my wife for about 7 years. I'm 30 and she's 29. We met shortly out of college through a group of mutual friends. She basically was with me while I grew up and out of a lot of immature habits from college. I brought a lot of baggage because I came from a shitty family background, had a truly evil MIL, and I definitely have an anxious attachment style where I'm afraid of being abandoned. We worked through a lot of issues, and I always felt like we were good communicators, even if we weren't totally compatible people. I can be more shy, and neurotic or anxious. She is much more gregarious and outgoing than me, and a better communicator. Although we started at the same job, she is very much someone who leadership tends to like having around, and has always sort of had a higher ceiling but slower progress of career progression, if that makes sense. I am extremely analytical, and a very good communicator when I choose to be, just not someone who people feel comfortable opening up to. I'm not a small talker, but I am a deep thinker and I have a way with words. Don't get my description wrong though, I think I objectively bring some value to the relationship. For example, I paid for the majority of the house we bought together, I am a saver, and have invested money over the years etc. And although I am not a gym rat, I do exercise regularly and generally take care of myself with therapy, doctor's appointments etc. I also am an okay caretaker, and we've never had physical incompatibility. Anyways, where it got weird and truly started rolling downhill was this year. I had a new job that was fairly intense, but I was also making a ton of money and arguably at the peak of my career. Being honest but vague, together we were probably in the top 1 to 2% of earners in our LCOL area, such that if we could have made it another 3 to 4 years of saving the same amount, neither of us would need to work anymore. But we kept fighting. Just about everything. And it reached a point where we even fought on vacation. I figured honestly with my therapist that I had reached a point where I was failing under the pressure and couldn't handle both my failing relationship and the stress at work. I took a medical leave from work and started full-time searching for a new job. Had a new offer in 6 weeks, and although I took a 35% pay cut, it meant I wouldn't need to travel 1 week a month for work anymore, and since I knew the new role would be a lot less intense, I'd be able to try to focus on finding a balance and happiness outside of work. Which, I think I actually achieved. I started on an antidepressant, and actually started getting into a gym routine again. I joined a fraternal charitable group, and a Dungeons and Dragons group. I still missed seeing my guy friends and I felt lonely most nights, but I wasn't crying from stress anymore, and I really felt like I was living up to the expectations she was setting for me of being more independent, having friends, making healthy choices etc. Then, one night at the end of September, she woke me up at 2 a.m. All the lights were on in the bedroom and she was crying. She told me she had cheated on me during a business trip over the summer while I was on my leave with someone from work, a friend of the client. It hurt like shit, but honestly, I felt free. We had been in couples therapy for so long and made no progress. She told me she was happy 70% of the time. Isn't that a C-? Is that really a passing grade for your life partner? I went to therapy the next morning at 8 a.m., 4 hours later, and talked to my therapist. He told me not to tell anyone and to just tell folks you parted ways and grew apart. So I tried to do that. Went to see family. She was texting me non-stop while I was gone. I came home 2 days later on Sunday and she asked me what I wanted to do. I said I didn't know. Maybe an open relationship because all of my meaningful long-term relationships have ended in cheating, so why not just take it off the table? I probably shouldn't have said that because I'm not really an open relationship type of guy, but I just didn't know what to do. The rest of that week was weird. I started sleeping in a different bedroom. We had couples therapy the next week. She said she couldn't go because of work, but she wasn't sure what we would cover in the session. I have to stop for a second there. To be clear, this is the first couples therapy session after she told me she cheated on me, and she doesn't think we have anything to cover. A lot happened after that too. But I just truly felt I was going insane. My sister, who I told, asked if I was getting darvoed. I didn't know what that meant. I knew any semblance of trust was over when one night I woke up, and she was in my separated bed next to me, pretending to be asleep, and rather than being happy to be near my wife I was scared. I tried to move out. I can't go into the rest, but she lost her temper at me. Now I am no longer in the home we had together. I just can't believe I threw away a good career to try to make a marriage with a cheater work. I trusted her so deeply and never ever would have expected it from her. We talked so many times about wanting to be different from our parents. I don't think I could or should have done anything different in retrospect. I think I am cursed by the thought I would have been doing better at work if I just had a happy relationship. I am just kind of angry at the situation. Hurts very deep to think I was hustling and stressing to find a new job in order to keep the life we had made together while she decided to go to someone else. And the fact it was a work colleague and not some stranger made me feel like I was completely stuck because if I asked her to quit the job I become a figure of resentment for her for the rest of our marriage. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. The perfect career you threw away made you stress cry. I'm sorry your partner cheated on you, that's totally on her and you didn't deserve that. OP's response. True. I am idealizing it for the sense of financial freedom I felt it afforded me, but mainly frustrated looking back and thinking I could have handled stabilizing one of the two, relationship or job, and I picked the wrong one. If I had known she had cheated during the break I probably would have made different decisions in the job search too. Hindsight is 20/20 though, and who's to say the job wouldn't have also fired me. Commenter 2. Darvo is a manipulation tactic where an abuser denies the abuse, attacks the victim's credibility, and reverses the roles of victim and offender. This pattern of behavior is used to avoid responsibility and shift blame onto the victim, often appearing in cases of domestic violence and in the legal system. Recognizing Darvo is crucial for victims and supporters to understand the abuse and to counteract its effects, assuming some stuff is being left out of the story if your sister is saying you're being Darvoed. My first impression though is it sounds like your reaction is basically to quietly quit the relationship. I think you should probably consider the current trajectory of how things are going in CYOA. She seems like the type of person that will start to escalate things once she realizes there is no going back to normal. OP's response. I am leaving out a few very key parts because I am not sure what I can share. I have a lawyer at least thankfully, so getting legal advice has helped.